I was putting the Mac away before we got started. Ended up getting a little derailed on it. I don't think I'm going to need these. Because I realized that every single component that... Forgot the keyboard cable. Every single thing in here touches styrofoam. And styrofoam and plastic aren't best friends. So I was trying to come up with ways to isolate the plastics from the styrofoam. So I was able to wrap the keyboard in two magazine sleeves, kind of overlapping each other. And then I was able to wrap the mouse in paper towels to put it into its thing. So, yeah. I'm gonna wrap the cable in paper, just regular old shipping paper, and wedge that between the monitor and the other stuff. There we go. And now I'm going to take this paper. Get goosebumps to hear styrofoam sounds? Yeah. Is it stored upside down? I mean, I could have put it on this part first, but it was easier to kind of wedge it all in this way. And totally not just because I didn't realize I was upside down and I started it in that direction. That way the cable doesn't get stuck to the foam? Yes, exactly. Okay, so now I should be able to do this. And then and it's not just the cable. You need to protect all of the plastic. So boom, there we go. And now, okay, well, I guess in this case it is going to get stored upside down. I don't think it matters, but you know what? Just for what I would expect when I go to work on it next time, let me just, there we go. What happens between plastic and polystyrene? You will get the plasticizer leaking out of the... It's mostly PVC that does it, but you can get some styrofoam plasticizer interaction with the plastic, and you get like weird burns, and the plastic will like stick to it. It's more cables that you need to worry about, but in the grand scheme of things,
100 once you have rotated your Mac, remember to check your streamer's back for it.
if I have problems with just one of these, I got way bigger problems. But that'll work. All right. Yeah. And there. Now I'll be able to fold this up. Boom. And in case I screw up, I was going to put a couple of pieces of blue tape here, just in case. All right. There we go. One packed Mac. I really thought that was going to go quicker and be done before stream. You know what? Just clean sweep. Let me go put this back on the Mac table where it belongs. There we go. Okay. Cool shirt, yeah. Really like the Grimace shirt. Yeah, this is probably the shirt I wear that gets the most attention. I actually chose this shirt intentionally today. So it's still hot and humid, but it's not as bad today. But I realized, you know, while I was doing a weekend of just not wearing the correct shirts, let's test the thing that I keep wondering about, but I never get to. And let's go over to the workbench. Not the workbench, the workstation. That's it. And I want to see what the webcam does when I wear a light colored shirt, because that might make the exposure more acceptable. Oh, that's so much better. My hair still kind of throws it off, but that's way more reasonable. There we go. Now let me catch up. Portizo, thank you for the tier 1 sub there, and for 54, holy moly, 48, 42, no, 52, 54 months there. Portizo, thank you so much. And Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. All right. Yeah, that looks a lot better exposure-wise. Man, that's unfortunate. I don't know how to handle that.
Chlorocoon has CHEER 100 hair throws it off. Well, we know the outcome of that. Nothing happening with that semicolon.
Yeah. The absolute most I would possibly do is just ponytail it, because then it wouldn't take up as much volume, but nah, that's not happening either. Okay, let's get on to today's actual topic. MediaBasket, yay! For the record, I did order the fuse holder pieces to put in the foot pedal, but the other foot pedals came, the momentary ones. They don't have outlets on the cables. It's just foot pedal, wire, which I was not expecting. The listing didn't specify that at all. I was going to return them, but they were like $8 each, and it's not really worth it. And maybe I could figure out something I could use later. So yeah, I just kept them, and I ordered 2 more that were actually outlet driven, or outlet equipped. So yeah, anyway, get pull. I don't think I made any actual changes. I think it just added files. Yes, okay. So, I had a realization this morning as I was fighting some other stupid issue, which, fun fact, if you read the supporter Discord server, I broke again after somehow. I have no idea how. I'm going crazy. Anyway, I came up with an idea for how to handle this to solve the real-time dynamic web page nonsense stuff. So if you weren't here yesterday, I'm working on making it so that on MediaBasket, you can go to the config thing, you can change the settings, and then save them, and they will actually be saved. So we have, boom, the Wait, why is it called that? You know what? I'm not going to worry about it. Boom, we changed the settings. So those are actually adjustable. However, Pi Disk Rip has more settings that are unlimited in size and scope because of the drives and the controller. So I was trying to figure out, how do I want to set up drive and controller configuration here and express the data in such a way that it can actually be shown on the web page and make sense and all that fun stuff. So
says CHER 100 saving settings actually saves them. Well, you are ahead of Outlook for Mac at the moment. End of line.
It's probably because they didn't demagnetize that's a giant barcode. Probably because they didn't demagnetize the thing first. JavaScript time. There will be a little bit of JavaScript here. So here's the idea that I had yesterday. I was going to use WebSockets to, when we have a button down here, like, let's just go ahead and quickly synthesize this button so that we have a rough idea of what this is going to look like. Let's go here. That way I can stop saying in the future there will be a button. Let's just put a button there. It doesn't even have to be that correct. We can adapt it from there. How about we open it with the program that we're in? Okay. Blah, blah, not paste. Okay. Button, button, button. This'll work. But I want another thing. First off, was I an idiot and I made the form the menu thing? Kinda. Let's just pull this out to here and then that to there. And then what's this div go to? We need the form to be the outermost possible thing. This doesn't have a closing tag? Okay, fine. Let's just add one more div just for kicks. So now this closes there. Sure. Why not? Okay. So now I need another control window header doodad. This goes to that. Yes. Okay. And then boop. Why did that only look like one? Boop. That still only looks like one. I am selecting two things. I'm hitting Control C. I'm going over here and I'm hitting, okay, sure, why not? Why? Yeah, sure, okay. Whatever. Drive and controllers. And then I'm gonna select option, some or another. I'm not gonna make it a table. Wait, why is this not a media handler? What? Table ends up here. Send media form. I guess I already pulled that out and put it down there. Brain. I'll just grab the table. Table, boom. Boom. Okay. Now, instead of this, we'll do, I don't want, please stop doing drag, select, movement. Let me delete. And then I want a button. Wait, this is supposed to be outside of the form. It'll be, this will be weird. Let me get rid, maybe not. Hold on, I gotta think about this. TD. Add menu, whatever. This will make sense in a moment. And then I want this. Boom. No. Boom. And then get rid of that. And then drive and controller menu stuff. And then option. Let's just get rid of this. Thing. Okay, so let's say CD robot, and we got like oh my gosh, so many things. There we go. Get rid of that. Okay, CD robot, grease weasel, single drive, CD, whatever. Okay, so we got this. Okay, now back to here. Boom, F5. Okay. So what we'll end up having, archives of CDs, DVDs, and way of doing it properly, just make an ISO. So you can't, it's not an easy question. I don't know the answer on Windows. CDs need to be ripped to bin queues because ISOs are only for data file systems. They won't work for audio CDs or mixed audio and data CDs. DVDs, you can just rip to ISOs. Anyway, here's how this will work. I'll pick one of these and then I'll click Add Menu, all right? I did not realize I was gonna submit the form, but whatever. Then what it will do is it will pop up another menu similar to this down here. And that will give us the options for, say, the CD robot for the serial port to change it, the order that the drive should be in, the camera settings for cropping or whatever, the calibration data for where all the bins and stuff are. That'll all pop up here once we click Add Menu, which means we need JavaScript stuff on the client. But here's my thought. Up above, before the form, what we could do is we can have a secret div. All right, let's close the div. And in this, we can have some stuff. So let's say we have, let's just grab this actually. It's like a whole thing already, turnkey, ready to go. Okay, so let's say this is APLS CD robot. All right. And then we have some settings that are specific to this. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So we would have that up there, but why did that go like full width? Did I close a div? Div. Oh, it's because it's out of the layout grid. Well, it doesn't matter. So this could be up here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to have style display none. And then boom, it's gone. So what I'll do is when the user says, I want CD robot, and then it clicks add, it's going to copy this hidden div from up here to the bottom, but still within the form. So it'll put it within this thing so that it's actually handled. Where did this, so that it's still encapsulated in the form so that the data gets captured by submitting it to the save thing. But then what I can do is I can add all of the controls in static elements in Python, and I don't have to build this in JavaScript. All I have to do is just select the ID up here and copy it. So I can build all of this on the server side. And then the other benefit is when we're reading an existing settings file, since I'll already know how to read the settings and generate the HTML, I can do that on the server side too, for the ones that are already filled out at the bottom. So what we need to define next is a way of communicating how we want the HTML for the settings page defined on the server side, and then we have them included here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a dummy controller, and then a dummy drive that we can load into the software and have it populate the settings. That way we can have something that can actually work. So yeah, that's what we're going to do first. So that means data controller. All right. Let's start making some. Why is my chair so squeaky? What part is doing the squeaking? I don't know. I'll figure it out later and I'll douse it in oil. Yeah, put some 3-in-1. I know, but I got to find the part that's actually making the noise. The whole mechanism down there is really annoying. So I'll figure it out after stream. We'll just deal with the squeaky chair for now. Okay. So I want a Python class that can generate config files or help config data from just a thing. You know what? We're going to go objects or util. I'm going to go here, add file, help, Office Max, share I've had for 5 years is still decent. This is Staples. Got it from Goodwill. Armrests are 100% cracking. I actually had them recovered on one of these chairs. I have two of the exact same chair. I had them recovered in canvas, and those ones are holding up so much better than the pleather ones. But yeah, the armrests suck. Recover the headrest next. That's a lot more complicated of a shape. It's a lot more complicated. Because the concaveness. So it's got to be like stretched. I don't know. Anyway. Maybe. Let's see. Settings. Help.py. All right. Let's just make our base config help class that has settings, help, data stuff in it. Some familiar pics here. 5161. I don't have a 5161. Oh. Wait, what? Oh, what? Floppy drives 5161, yeah. That's not my drive, actually. No. That's funny, because that didn't show up in any of my searches. When was that added? Last updated July 12th, 2026. Reload didn't load all pics. Oh, you gotta scroll, okay. Well, I was gonna say Dude, how'd your drive get that beat up? That's funny. If they were done a week ago, those pictures were being taken on like the exact same day I was taking mine. They really were. Class, settings, help, extends object. Okay. So, Great minds think alike, yeah. Trying to think if I want the settings to be forced flat or not, or allow this to be recursive. Because here's one of the things about PyDiskRip. For PyDiskRip, I wrote the the JSON form class.
Subscribe with Prime. They've subscribed for 3 months. End of line.
Ryan Van Ness, thank you for the Prime sub and for 3 months there. I appreciate that. This is generated live or on the fly from a dictionary, including the submenus and stuff. And I'm wondering if I want to do that again here. But how? Let's just play with thinking this through. So self dot settings equals let's say let's say path is a base level setting. That's not how you define anything. You know what? Dev random. Let's do this for now. Okay. So if we have that, then we could have let's say params as a sub-dictionary. And then we could have count to size. Look how good I am being at using single quotes. I hate single quotes. Size 1. 1M. Okay. So how would we work through this? So we have settings, info. Everything would be replaced with name. That's not me. Single quotes, also me. Double quotes, bad, stupid idiot. Name, file, path. I did it again. File, path. Description. You know, DSC, because I don't feel like typing description a whole bunch of times and misspelling it every other time. Okay. The source file to copy. For the record, in my head, I'm thinking that the first example object would be a drive that copies from dev random to dev null. And we're going to copy 2 1 meg data things. Okay. So here's where this gets messy now and why the nested thing doesn't necessarily work with this. Because I could put this here, name for count would be count. And then description would be number of blocks to copy, but I can't put anything there. Unless what if we make a reserved keyword index thing? Self dot key equals settings info header whatever, and then we could do this name description, and every dictionary gets this added. So this would be random block copier. Or how about just random copier, because that's a name. And then copies random data from path to dev null. You know what? Copies data from path to dev null. So what I could do is I could have this be put in every dictionary. So then this would reference the whole settings thing, and this one would reference just this. Parameters options to pass to DD for copy. It's not my favorite thing, but I think that works. And then what we might do here, class data or setting info. Let's go with that. Setting info extends, hold on, this one's weird. No, I was gonna say extends enum. I don't want it to extend enum object. So we'll do def underscore init underscore self. Let's do name, description, and type. This was the last thing I didn't think of. Okay, data type. You know what? I was gonna say HTML type or data type. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Dude, ugh. Oh, hold on. Hair. Yeah. How did I get a hair in my mouth? That's crazy. We could use this to define drop-down menus. So like for the grease weasel, we could say for the drive type, have, you know, 8-inch, 80 track, 5 1/4 inch, 30 or 40 track, 5 1/4 inch, 80 track as like drop down options for drive type instead of other things. Oh, okay. So default. Oh gosh. I don't know if I'm way overthinking this or not. I have a feeling the answer is yes, I am. But this is one of those areas that really sucked. Self.name equals name. And rinse repeat. Description, data type, default. Okay. Trying to think through how this will work. So one thing I think I did here is, and I believe I'll be able to reuse this, I used, the pipe character as my delineation. So I would just not be allowed to put pipe characters in here, which I think is pretty fair. So it'll be something along those lines. And the way that it'll work is for the forms, because IDs are flat no matter what for form stuff. The form is always flat, but it can be presented different ways. So the IDs will have to be flat, and they'll use pipe again to make it not flat. And that's one of the things that this is going to handle, is unflattening the settings. Trying to think if this is worth doing or not. I think it is. Oh, I didn't want an enum. I don't know if this exists or if it matters. Python struct does exist. Difference between values and C structs implemented in Python bytes object. So that sounds like that's not what I want. Okay, so in C++, a struct is essentially a class that can't have functions. You want a data class? Is that a Python thing? Data class? Let's see. Import data class. Interesting. So this just automatically creates that. That's interesting. We have some.
Subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 49-months and says, oh wow, coming up on the big 5-0. End of line.
Yeah, I thought I was wrong about the struct not being able to have functions. Yeah, they're all private by default, or class. Yeah, private by default. Okay, that makes more sense. Nasriel, thank you for the tier 1 sub there, and for 49 months of hanging out. I appreciate that. Data class is interesting. I like the strongly typed hinting. I assume the way that it is accessed is dictionary-like. That's the main thing I'm trying to think about whether or not I want to do this with, is that it's not going to be a clean dictionary if I do this, which complicates things. No strong hinting. Wait, so are you saying I could put a string into unit price, or would it have a exception type error kind of thing? So this gets really messy if I don't have the subclass kind of thing. So you'd have data type. Well, there is no data type for this because that's just dictionary. You don't actually set anything on that. Not going to get tightly packed structures like in C. Well, it's not about it being tightly packed. That is one of the benefits to a C struct. I was thinking more as just a way of specifying data types and being able to format how you retrieve the data. So basically what I would want is
and Y subscribed with Prime. They've subscribed for 39 months. End of line.
A two-dict function, self, where we would just return this, but with the attribute names kind of done already kind of thing. That's the only real reason that I was hoping to be able to use that. And Kazuto, thank you for the Prime sub there, and for 39. Okay, so 7. Yes, 39. I appreciate that. So a data class could probably do that, but then what I would end up doing is creating setting info, and then it becomes this. Random copier, or setting info, random copier, dev null, 2_dict.
210S subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 54 months, currently on a 54-month streak. And says, well, sign we're counting with fingers at the moment. End of line.
JJ, thank you for the tier 1 sub, and for, that's 48. So, 54 months. I appreciate that. That might be simpler there. Oh, let's get rid of that before it murders the monitor. You know, yeah, but it's not clean. So, like, we would get, I'm pretty sure we would get other stuff in that, wouldn't we? Like, we would get more data than just these. I don't really want to, like, type all that out in the interpreter. It sounds like a pain in the butt. Here's my thought. What if this doesn't exist? And, well, first off, this could be a subclass of this, I think, because nothing is ever going to import that. What if we do this? Default, we also have options, let's say. I think default has to go before this. Okay. What I'm thinking we do this, and then we have help or to help. And then we have to data. And we would only return default. And it wouldn't be a dictionary. So basically what we could do is this would be, we would save these. So it'd be same thing here. Boom. Boom. And then this is actually simpler. But then we would also put the default values here. So path, default value, dev, random. And then, wow. This, that, and then stupid flickery thing, go away. Count to size, block, size to copy, 1M. So I could then have a function def get data self, and then for key value in self settings info. In sub.items. Output equals dictionary. Output key equals value dot to underscore data. If value is dict self dot get data value. Yeah. It's mostly pseudocode kind of, but else. Return output. So this, and then same thing, get help to, or is it info? What do I call it? Yeah, help. To help. So it could recursively iterate through to get just the data I want. This is possible. I don't know if this is the solution that I want to use, though. And hello, local H. I feel like this is overcomplicated. Like, really excessively overcomplicated. Well, whatever way you determine it's a dictionary. That's why I was saying it's basically pseudocode. It is possible to do something like this. It might be if type, whatever, equals dict. I don't remember exactly how you do it. Whatever it is. Don't know Python. It's more, I'm just trying to decide if this is like ridiculous. I'm kind of trying to think through, like, what would the ramifications of using this be? I hate the significant white space. That's about all I can't stand. I hate, specifically with significant white space, how my files all constantly have different tab depths. Because of how it just ends up working out. Like, unless I go through and like rigidly control the editor to like always use a specific tab depth, especially with Kate, and I think Vim might do it too, where it will guess what your tab spacing is based on what's already in the file. It will change as it goes. So like, here's one file where there's 8 space tabs and 4 space tabs. I hate Python for that. Yes, that's the one thing. Python with braces and proper code statements would be the best thing ever. I still cannot, like, hold on. Python brackets preprocessor. Yeah, Python's one of those things that I don't like. I wouldn't want to directly access memory. Vim, you can add settings for literally anything, so yeah, that makes sense. But there is literally no way on earth I would ever bother doing that. I am forever stuck with whatever the defaults are because I use too many different computers all the time. Yeah, Paul Guy, if you had a deployment system where you ended up with the same configuration on all machines at all the locations, yeah, that would make sense. But that's not how it works for me. Yeah, I use actual tabs everywhere else but Python because Python gets cranky when you do that. I feel like this is a rake, and then I'm going to step on this later and it's going to blow up in my face if I try it this way. I'm pretty sure Python explicitly wants you to not use tabs. It must be spaces. I think it seems like you can use tabs, but there will be edge cases where you cannot, and then you have to use spaces. Thinking of Python? I wasn't thinking of anything in particular. I was just wondering, is that a thing that people have done? I assumed it would be. And this is the other thing that I would assume with it. Because no one's actually going to use it. What you would need is for the default actual Python executable shipped by the PEP Foundation or whatever it is to have a flag to allow you to do that. It's the only way it would be possible. Okay. The actual program has settings. Drives will have settings, and controllers will have settings. There's no reason to have settings for anything else, like the SQL server. The controller, static, one location. That's easy. Drives. I'm trying to think about how I handled drives on this. So type, optical. I think it was always static. So there's no variation in what options are here, I believe. Let's go look at floppy. Grease weasel, group, type. Yeah, so that's exactly the same. We're going to replicate that because this works. I like this. So as long as we specify a type, and then we put this in there, and then we could have like a generic drive description thing that says how to format this. Okay, so we don't need built-in help for this. It's only for controllers. That's the only thing that needs it, is the controllers, because controllers are weird. It's like Grease Weasel. Doesn't even need that much. It just needs an ID. Is it only the CD robot that needs configured? No, because the Grease Weasel... Huh. Why did I put the device in the drive path? That should be part of the controller. Okay, so the controller should have the serial port there. Okay, so again, controllers, only thing that need, or did I do that so that the drive was unique? I don't think it matters. Yeah, a lot of programs will transparently replace tabs with spaces when you work in Python. Editing. Autocomplete. I swear that this will do it. Even specific to Python, not just like all the time. Well, that's not true for everything, Paul Guy. Vim, I do have set up to actually use real native tabs. And if I open this, let's say, nope, that's using spaces. Real tabs show up with an actual, with a dedicated tab thing. Is this just always replacing tabs with spaces? Oh, I hate that. I didn't realize that. Okay, so it's just controllers that need settings. All right, we're not going to overthink this. We're just going to have controllers have a second dictionary or something for help information rather than building out some complicated system. I think this is the bad idea, adding excessive bloat. Okay. Class, controller, object, def, init, self, dot settings. You know what? Let's do this way. Class. Controller. Dummy. Extends. Controller. No. Controller. Pass. Well, good news, Casper, we are starting over. Okay. Let's add some settings. So let's say the controller controls, we're doing DD as the example. Let me just real quick test something. DD if equal dev random of equal dev null size equal 1m count equal 2. Boom. Really? Does that have to be lowercase? DD unrecognized. What am I messing up? Bytes? It's got to be bytes. Yeah, bytes. BS. Block size. Invalid number 1M. Now it's boom. Okay. So status equal progress. And then count 2000. Okay, there we go. So here's why I specifically want to use DD. Because it has the built-in progress line. I want to be able to work on interpreting that in real time to get a percentage completion. Because I do want to be able to show that, and that's the wrong software. It killed the database. I want to be able to show that. Gotta be here in case you have something to say. All right. Like it's twice the ad revenue. So one trick I've heard people will do is they will watch on both Twitch and YouTube. And then when one gets ads, I switch to the other tab.
81 Raiders from Parts people have joined. End of line.
Parts people and Raiders, hello and welcome. We are working on my software for managing archival tools and drives and ripping. I'm currently working on implementing my configuration page for it and trying to work through how I can have menus and documentation built into the settings that these need. And I think I'm going to go with hard coding it because all other options are a pain in the butt. So I was looking into adding a dedicated class for helping create settings in a fancy pants way that would be object oriented. And then I realized there's a lot of boilerplate for something that really only one part of the code needs. And if I just define a good API for how that works, it's not an issue. So all right. For the, let's say, dummy controller for DD, let's call the drives. Yeah, for the drive, we specify the source. The controller will do the actual copy. Yeah. So settings will include the block size. And the count. By the way, count could be a good stand-in for revs for the grease weasel. For when we're doing flux, how many revolutions you want there? ABC would be a lot cleaner here. I'm not sure what you mean. Local H, I would expect that that means that I do get more revenue or not. You can define a class as abstract. It's abstract. Is that equivalent? Okay, hold on. I'm seeing Gino recommended that. Is that like a virtual class in C++? So are you saying we would make a abstract class that we would then overload? Yeah. Okay. I'm guessing. All right. This is going to sound super dumb. I'm not touching collections ABC. No. If I know one thing, is that this is one of those things that gets changed a lot between revisions, and that's a no, do not touch. That's not a very stable API. I forget what program I kept having to use that that was broken on, but I had to keep renaming something to do with that, and I didn't want to deal with it anymore. So Casper, the way that it works is you basically define the framework for how child classes would be built. So essentially, it really doesn't make a lot of sense in a single person project. I'll say it that way. That's part of what the difficulty would be here. But if we had multiple teams of people working on implementing different controllers and stuff, if they started with the same base class, the abstract class, it would give them a skeleton of what features they need to implement to make it work. So that's why you would do something like that, is it builds in rigid structures that say, hey, you must do this. But it's not necessary with one person who has all of that up there, or would have to review the code again to understand exactly how it works. But yeah, I will not be using collections ABC. Class factory. Yeah, there's different syntaxes for it in every language for some reason. In Python, yeah, or C++ that I'm more familiar with, it's virtual functions, but yeah, same thing. Fun fact, you can't just overload functions in Python. And by overload, I meant overwrite or override earlier. That's how it works. Because yeah, you cannot overload functions in Python, which is very annoying because types are weakly specified, so it's impossible. Anyway, block size equals 1M. Count equals 2000, because that gave a actually meaningful time. I have to import stuff to get the cool kid stuff. Yes, but it's mostly all like the C++ STD library. So, like actual just pure straight C++ sucks. Even just C++ with the standard library sucks. Here's an example. Printing F strings in Python. This is text. This is variable. Yeah, that's a nightmare to do in Python or C++. Unless you really like doing STD. See out. This is text. This is... Oh gosh, I don't even think... STD string variable? It's been a little while. STD end line. I can't remember if it requires the underscore. I think it's that. Ugh. You don't malloc your strings? Yeah, exactly. STD count. Oh, what? See there. See out. But yeah, anyway, that's yeah, C++ sucks for string stuff, which is the majority reason why I use Python. Because like Paul Guy was saying earlier, Python is the modern version of BASIC. It makes life so much easier. It's designed for actually interacting with the software, whereas C++ is designed for interacting with the computer. Different concept. C++ computer side, Python user side. Frosty Wolf, that's what the stack is for. I don't really have a problem with that. If you have a problem with that, it means your debugger sucks, is what that means. I will say I have never had a good debugging experience with Python, and I still can't have a good debugging experience with Python for this because of the async web server stuff. So, yeah. Like upon, sorry to me. Well, the WebSocket stuff, I figured out a way around, which is better because I can have it be a static web page sent to the client. So that's just nicer. You know, for all the users, or for all the user, there will be getting served the web page. Okay. And then, so we'll have actual settings and we'll have self settings UI. Which will just mimic the structure. I have name. You know what? No type checking. No drop downs, nothing. It's just gonna be a string. I'll have the I can have it interpreted as an int if it needs to be, but yeah, I don't think I want to bother with all that. So name dd block size. I'm being bad again. BS parameter value passed to DD. And yeah, I'm being bad again. Hold on. Okay. Some along those lines. Pass. We're not doing DD. We're just going to do a delay. Hold on. Delay. Oh my gosh, I can spell. Delay. Let's go with 1 and then count. Delay. Reason, if I do it, is just time delays, then I don't have to do a sub-process called a DD, and that will be, smarter. I don't want it to be 2,000 seconds. I would rather it just be, let's make that 1,000 for 1 second as well. Let's say 10 seconds. Milliseconds to delay per cycle count. Delay count. Number of delay cycles to wait through. Okay. Then I could have def. I don't know, action or whatever. I'm not going to bother putting in the rest of this code. Pass for right now. Okay. We're going to make settings flat. I don't care. I have decided, I have proclaimed it's not worth making them multidimensional. The camera on the robot is the only thing that is not currently a flat one. So it's just straight up not worth it. Okay, config. There are a lot of things that I want to do in this software and that I was hoping to be able to put off getting to, and I'm concerned I'm not going to be able to. Okay, this is one of the more complicated elements to this that I have wanted that I'm not exactly sure how to implement. I want this object to import all classes in this folder from all Python files. It's possible, but every time I've looked into it, it's a giant pain in the butt. Yeah. Yeah, no, this is a very difficult thing to do in Python. And yeah, I know it's possible. Okay. I don't know why Google has started doing this, but it's driving me friggin' crazy. Where it'll pick not one like answer for your search or whatever, it'll pick just one domain and then only show that on the homepage. It's like they're taking extra money from the companies that are top hit, and then you have to go to page 2 to get all of the real results. It's so weird. This is new as of like a month ago. Yeah, it's all the time. I mean, it's not literally every single time, but it's very common now that I only get the one result like that. But it's not, it's one domain. It's one provider. It's not like one page because they do the forum thing where they have relevant results from the same place here. So this would import from that file. Hillcroft. I want to try something dumb. Okay. So from controllers import, or no, from controllers dot just controller dummy import controller dummy. Invalid syntax. Fine. It got it though. Okay, line 13. Oh, I don't have a there. Object, whatever. Okay, so that works. Now, import as dummy. Sure, that works. Import star as dummy. List of imports from module. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to avoid using some other import tool. Yeah, there's a million ways to do this. So I have two problems. I have to import them all, but I also need them to be registered to know that they are imported. So the reason I'm trying to do as blank is so that I can know what it is. And what I would do is I would glob the list of files, then import the one class from each file as file name sans.py, and then I know that that class would be that file name. You know what I could do? If I'm going to import as, and I'm going to use the file names, I don't think there's any reason for me to not just do that. Yeah. Okay. Dynamic Python module generation. It's more dynamic Python module loading is what I'm trying to do. So there's two instances where I need to do this. Data fragments for like the handlers for bin queues, ISOs, wave files, that kind of stuff. And controllers, the handlers for the grease weasel, individual optical drives, the CD robot, etc. It would be really, really handy for all of those to not have to import them one at a time, because the way that PyDiskRip works is that I have these manager classes in here. So we got manager, and the only reason that this exists is so that I can import all of this garbage into one file and then make a list of what they can handle. So if I could generate that dynamically, so much better. And I think I could. And then actually import. Well, no. So here's what I'm thinking. All right. So let's pretend that actually, you know what? If I don't remember how you do this. Hold on. Nah. Boom. Okay. If main. All right. For you know, import glob. Import glob. It's a good word, glob. Someone else imported glob here. Import glob. Glob. You know, we're just going to import from glob. Import glob from glob. Get all your globbing on. We will figure out how to glob files. I'm all too happy to continue to say glob here. Pretty sure I got a glob in this. Glob? No globs here. I think I need wave then. Let's see. It's definitely a glob in here. Or do I want bin queue instead? Let's just see. Glob. There we go. Glob files. Okay, that'll work. Now, we're going to glob all of the controllers /.py. So this would include controller dummy from here. All right. Let's go controllers for you don't see in controllers print C. Okay. chmod plus x. Oh, I think, you know what? I need to do Python 3 controller.py. Okay. Do you mean from? Fine. Okay. So we got that file. Okay. From controllers dot, I don't know if this is acceptable. C dot replace we're just committing all the crimes right now. Hold on. Dot py. Import, it's just controller as dummy. Boom. Invalid syntax. Okay. Python, import from module name as string. Oh gosh. Import, no, that's the thing they made. That's so weird, Portizo, that it didn't tell me about your gift sub. What? It hates you for some reason. Doesn't tell me about your YouTube thing membership. It doesn't tell me about your gift sub. That's so weird. Yeah, let me look up the Python import function thing. Python underscore import. Boom. Import, spam, globals, locals. Okay. Yeah, but on the other same part. Okay, so this statement results in this logic. Okay. Okay. I think I can work with that. So this, but we replace the slash with a dot. We still kill the dot py. All right, and then we import controller. And then temp equals. And then what I could do, controllers name equal meh. Controller's name temp dot name equals, hold on, temp dot controller name. I think so. Did I mention your sub at the intro screen? Yes. Yeah, I can't move it over there, but yes, it did. for the record, at chat.techtangents.net, you can always see what it actually catches or not. So there it is, right there. It did catch that. Okay, let's see if that explodes. I don't want that. Object type controller has no attribute name. Okay, controller self.name. So this was never run. So is it this? I forget exactly how you do this as like a static-y thing, whatever. I think that might be it. Okay. Interesting. Loaded. C dot name. For key items and then let's do def action or no I don't know, help, whatever, I don't know, print, you know, just self return yo the code like works, man. Okay. C dot Okay, controller has no attribute. I don't think that's true though. Oh. Okay. Required self. Oh, it's not an instance. Yeah, that makes sense. So inst boom. That's perfect. Oh, that's gonna work. That is exactly what I wanted. Okay. I don't think there are any rakes I'm gonna step on with this. I think that's good. I think that's exactly what I want. Yeah, so for the way that this code is going to work, each data object type thing, whatever, will have, I wasn't actually bothering to put them in there. In the output, there will be a type, media type associated with it. That media type will match the name key here that is used as the key in this. So if I wanted to do, you know, def get controller, I would return control type name. I would just do this, and then that's it. You should know by now you're going to hit a rake along the way. I think because this is basically the exact same concept as this, and this was already working, I think I'm good. Yeah, I think this will work. Oh, I'm excited. I never had this not suck before. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift a bunch of this up into here, and then I'll have this just create an instance of this and then print it, and then that'll be my debug thing. It feels so very wrong to just use the exact same class name in all of these, but that makes life so easy. I don't think there's a gotcha I'm going to run into with that, because they're only going to be imported and utilized through that dictionary. So yeah, don't forget to rename it. I don't think I need the function that returns a single string. Also, this is not going to actually exist later, so much effort to avoid abstract classes. No. Abstract classes don't solve this. Abstract classes do not solve importing an arbitrary number of modules. That's what this does. This is not about creating a static API. That's not what this is about. This is about, so this is going to be just a sleep thing. If I wanted to add, yeah, actually, you know what? Let me just show you this. Hold on. So this runs, right? Can't open file, fair. Okay, so that works. So now I can go into here. I can do controller farts. All right. And then, oh my gosh, I need to uninstall Spider. Sudo apt purge spy. Great. Which spider? Fine, we'll do it the lame way. Okay, so here, farts, yo, the code smells terrible. All right, now I can go up here, I can run this. It just imported both. So we just ran two different functions by just importing the files. LGRT and TT collab when? Technically I have. You go back and watch his Coco video. I helped him out by getting him some shots of a different one. So that's what this does. It does not do like API abstraction. I mean, it does indirectly. Okay. Oh, that's so nice. That's so awesome. I'm really excited about that. Okay. So import time. Might as well just do this. This is not really going to be how this works. Time dot sleep delay. Actually, self dot settings dot delay. C equals 0 until wow. C is less than self dot settings dot count. You know what, that might work? I don't know. I don't usually use that syntax. Let's do it for giggles. C plus equal 1. Boom. Okay. Oh, you know what I could do? Just to demonstrate. It has no attribute count. Okay, so that does not work. That was what I thought. Python's weird. I think it's JavaScript that lets you just willy-nilly switch back and forth between them. Oh no, it's sleep seconds or not milliseconds? I think it's actual seconds. Hold on. 1. There we go. So there is the actual code running. Okay. We'll do this. Oh, actually, hold on. Controllers names. Let's move this up here. Controllers glob. Okay, so let's do some like actual like commenting and stuff. Import submodules for controller types. Get list of all files for controllers. Self dot okay. So now I just that boom. Oh, I accidentally deleted the one thing. There. Okay. I don't know what a DI container is. Yeah, that may or may not work. I don't know. It seems like a really big, heavy thing to import for this when I got like one line. This works. There's no reason not to use this. Out of curiosity, local itch, are you using Firefox? Because I find Firefox, especially on Linux, to be very far behind. Vivaldi, okay. So Chrome. Okay, that will all work. Those should always be the same. Yeah. Okay. Now, why all that? Because I can now work on importing this data into the web view for the config stuff. Because now I have a way of importing arbitrary controller objects. It will later, PC. I'm not concerned about that right now. That's not your. Yeah, no. We're working on other aspects at the moment. Yeah, still Chrome. I think they're punishing Gecko or whatever it is. Or maybe just the way Gecko does the update requests slows it down. I don't know. Doesn't make sense for Chrome as much. Well, it doesn't make sense for Firefox, but Chrome I have seen be more up to date. Okay. Def. We're going to add the ability to pull out all of the help information here. So, controller, get UI. PC Magus, I think you're really overthinking it right now. We're just getting the skeletal structure of the code fleshed out to know what the bounds are that we need to work within. So I'm not hard lining anything at the moment. Okay, I'm trying to think. So we could get the values from that. Actually, we should. Yeah, maybe. Yes. Okay, so if there's no settings set initially, we need to load the actual settings, and then we need the UI stuff. So we need both. I mean, local H, you gotta start somewhere. I don't know if you want me to go sit in front of a whiteboard for 4 hours instead. And then plan out everything in ink first. Yeah, I'm trying to think through of how I'm going to want to exchange this data. This is a sort of direct RAM data exchange, but not really. It's loading the source files, so it's not like how PyDiscrep worked, which is what I'm trying to avoid. So we're going to load the controllers, but we're not going to initialize them or do anything. We're just pulling out the metadata, which maybe I want to put this all up here because I don't want to have to initialize it. Draw UML diagrams. It's not about memory efficiency, it's about memory access, because I'm doing multi-threaded async stuff where I can't read or write portions of memory between different processes. That's the problem. So I'm trying to make sure, like, technically, yes, this is stored in RAM, but it is not an instance in RAM that I'm trying to get. We load the files directly here, load them into RAM fresh, and then I'm going to pass them straight over to the other code. So there will be no live memory that this is querying. This is basically coming from files, but care of Python. Okay, so we go through name, I don't know, controller. Okay. I need settings. Defaults. Blank. And UI. So settings, defaults, name, will equal controller dot settings. Yeah, it's default values, unless I misspelled it, and that's what you're talking about. Yeah, it is. Okay, and then it will be fine. Okay. And then I return settings. So I can build the UI. So let's mess around with this. Config from data controller import I want this to be plural. Controllers. I want that to be plural as well. Wait, what is it? Hold on. There we go. Import controllers. Okay. Let's just run that, see if that blows up. No. Okay. Figure, all looking good. Okay. So we can do controllers. Cinfo equal controllers. And then, because that has to initialize to be able to run code, maybe I can make a static method, but I don't really care. Dot get UI or controllers underscore UI equals that. Okay. We're gonna add this equals that. And then in the config template, I'm going to restructure that. Settings is a list. Settings plus defaults. Is this what I want? Hold on, let me think about this. Look at the Jinja template documentation. I want to know if I can do a key value thing. Jinja Python. Okay. 4. For key value in dict items. Perfect. Okay. No, leave it as is. Change nothing. It was beautiful just the way it was. All right. So up here in Hidden Town, we're going to not display none this at the moment. You know what? I know how to spell all those words. We can just bring that back later if I want. For key value in this thing here for name controller. Okay. For right now, let's simplify this. Name. Get rid of, you know, we'll just leave that. Okay. Error. Okay. End block. Did I not put it end block? Ugh, fine. Gosh. Hold on, I need to end 4. F5. Oh, did it crash? It crashed. All right, so new. Gotta change. Delay can't have because. We're so close to this doing what I want. I just want to point that out. We're real close. I just need to figure out how I want to handle this. So, want name first. So name, I think we just swap these. But I think we have to do this first. Just me with stream lagging. I am currently dropping frames. It looks like it's the exact same time every time. There's got to be something stupid external. Some nearby business does their magnetic interference broadcast time. Okay, name, so we run this. No. Or items. Name, settings, return settings, settings equal. Why does that not work? Print this thing. Just blank. How's that blank? That doesn't make sense. Get UI, blank. You know, I'll just get rid of this, see what happens. No, it's not putting anything in there. Why? That does not appear to be better. Hmm. Why is this blank?
Laura Kuhn says CHEER 100.
I don't. It is an actual LTE issue. I think there might be a service issue to the LTE tower, LTE signal information, and it seems pretty good still. I'm not. So on the side, 0 that causing issues. Okay, I'm going to pause it again on the office side and see what happens. So I'm going to put my hand up so that I know when to do that. When I hit stop, it was basically instant on both, although it seems like it sorted itself out now. Yeah, I'm no longer dropping frames. That's real weird. Nothing has changed here. So in case you couldn't make out what I was saying, this is the LTE signal history. So about here is where it stopped dropping frames. Nothing has changed. I've never dropped frames on the server side. It is purely the office to server communication, but I think it's actually the LTE receiving tower to broadband internet that's having issues. It's not from the LTE to the tower, because my signal strength to the tower is fine. I just can't win. So that is potentially a problem, even if I had fiber here. Yeah, the backhaul, exactly. So that could just be LTE tower congestion, maybe, but I feel like I would see something on the LTE end. Huh. Weird. Oh well. Hey, on the bright side, at least with all the network stuff I've got set up now, I can actually tell, hey, it's not my fault. I can look. It ain't me. But yeah, I'm not dropping frames. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to work. By the way, MikroTik Chateau LTE, absolutely one of the best things I've ever bought. I love that thing. Oh my gosh, it's so good. All right. Now, new problem. The get info call is not getting info anymore for some reason. I don't know why. So I'm just trying to grab the most basic bare things. It sounds American, yeah, really. Print, name. Who needs F string? Okay, we'll use an F string. I was gonna say, who needs F strings? We got plus strings, but you know what? Actually, this is more syntax than if I hadn't done this. Okay. F5. It's not getting it. It's not loading it anymore. Why is it no longer loading it? Controller. I see why. Controller. Manager. Boom. Close. Close nevertheless. Config. Controller. Manager. No, wait. Controller. Manager. Boom. Okay, now it'll work. F5. No, it didn't. F5. No, refresh. Data, controller manager, class, controller. I had a collision, a name collision. That was what was going on. At least part of it. Found. Typing. Time controllering. Okay, let's try that. It's not even running it. What? I think I need to do this. Delete. Delete. Okay, now it's just wanting to annoy me. What is going on? How are you never finding the things? Is it... all right, hold on. I think I know what the problem is. I think we got a path thing going on because I'm running this from a different location. Importing. C. Okay. Importing. Yep, that's the problem. Okay. So, we replace data. So, actually, do I? Hold on, what did it complain about? Blah, 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 blah. Too many values to unpack. Okay. I think that might actually be correct. So we'll not remove this. Name controller. Okay, line 21. Somewhere. Okay, settings for name controller and controller's name. Too many values to unpack. What? Yes to the foot switch. Way better than Christmas light one. Oh, yes. Kind of loud, but with towel over, it's usable. All right. You could still look at, like putting spray foam or something inside. Get some Dynamat, line the inside. Dummy class. No, that looks correct. Hey, values to unpack? How? Oh, dot items. Grr. Oh, okay. Okay, so now I got name controllers. Oh my gosh. Okay. Config HTML. Alrighty. Officially extracting information from Python to print here. Oh my gosh. Okay. Whew. So now we get UI and defaults. So this would be the key, and then this would be a dictionary that contains UI and defaults. So we will loop this again for controller UI items. Let's do controller UI. UI underscore name UI info. Okay. And we end for here. So we could do UI info name. And then let's just try that. Actually, this should go here. And then this should go away. All right, let's see this explode. Okay. Settings, name, defaults, key error dummy. Oh, yeah, this is what I was trying to fix before. So, this equals blank. Almost worked. Wait, that's getting the wrong thing. Oh. Okay, that's correct. Count. Okay. For UI name and attribute. Okay, so. Oh, yeah, I screwed that up. No wonder. Hold on. UI. Let's do dot UI. Controller dot UI. I think that will work. Yes. Delay. Oh my gosh, there we go. That's it. That's boom. Okay. So this is officially from Python named parameters being loaded. Okay. Whew. So now I could do I think here and then boom and boom, except, well, not quite that. It would be that. Inspect. Name, delay. Perfect. Okay. This is not the whole thing, but this is a big. Now what I could do is, let's say I wanted to add an additional variable to her. All right. I don't know. It's a thing. Oh, not that. Hold on. Value. Then we could this. Could add value. And then that reload. And F5. Now it shows up. Okay. Get status. There's going to be a lot to look at here. Data. The whole data. Get add. Controller should go in there, but we'll that out later. Okay. Get dash basic. Set information. Consent interface. Get push. Oh my gosh. Oh, a big deal to get figured out. Now that's not the every single controller needs an ID that is separate from the name or the type, however you want to think about that. I should probably rename that to type now that we have something that can actually be implemented. Multiple, because again, will this be hidden? And then I'll be able to click this, and then what it will do is copy this down here to be user editable. Frame drops, there have been some frame drops again. Nothing I can do about it though. As I showed through the diagnostics that I have available, I'm not dropping any frames on the server side, which is at my house, and I'm not seeing any connection issues between my LTE modem and the tower. So it's between the tower and my house, which there is nothing I can do about. Oh my gosh. Really good getting that implemented. It's not perfect, it's not done, but man, that's a big step. I'm wanting action. I'm almost wondering, better off just calling it there and ending the stream, depending on how bad the service is right now. Pretty sure Starlink would cost like several $100s a month for me to stream. Don't want it and couldn't use it anyway. Still on. Annoying. Here's the thing. I have an inkling of what the problem is, and it's not going to go away for the rest of the stream. But also, I don't know how this has not been... I mean, I guess it had... This has been a problem for the last couple of weeks, hasn't it? But, like, it hasn't been a problem forever, but I got to issue the last couple of weeks. All right, that seems recovered now. I'm going to stop and start the stream. Okay, I restarted the stream because it caught up. Nope, it immediately started dropping frames again.
Laura Kuhn says CHEER 100. I'm going to blame it on fan being an EMF and not around. It says likely as any other reason at the moment. End of line.
I think I know what the reason is, and there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, now it seems better again. Yeah, fix it for now, but it keeps coming in and out. And there it goes again. Well, all right, here's the thing. I think I'm going to call the stream there, because if what I suspect the issue is the issue, I cannot do anything about it, but also it would be always an issue, and I don't know, or it would be a recurring issue, but this has been a recurring issue. And it's just going to be an issue until the end of stream. So, coupling that with the fact that I just hit my most desired milestone for the day, I feel like that's a reasonable stopping point, and that continuing this later is preferable, because I don't think I'm going to make any meaningful progress in an hour. So I would rather just cut the losses here and end the stream gracefully while I still can. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, well, slightly annoying end to the stream here. Just getting up my control for the server, because I have to be able to I guess that's not as critical now as it used to be, actually, because I have the video routing stuff. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna hit the outro. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, unfortunate, but yeah, it keeps dropping, and I'm pretty sure it's not gonna stop. So yeah, I don't know exactly what the solution for that will be. I want to start taking notes though.
SDE have joined. End of line.
I am literally ending the stream right now. Sorry. Oh, that was terrible timing. But hello, hope your stream went well, T2SDE. Yeah, I'm having some internet issues, so I'm calling it while I can at the moment. But I hope your stream went well. Yeah, anyway, we made some good progress on the software that I was working on. If you want to see what that looked like, yep, there it is. It's, yep. From gotta go too? All right. Oh man, 5G or 5, this is, the problem is that neither one of those are the issue. My connection to the LTE tower, which is 4G, not 5G, 4G is actually better in this case, is totally fine. As Chloe put it, the backhaul between the tower and the WAN internet at large. So nothing I can really do about that. But yeah, anyway. All right, unsure if I will continue this from here on Friday next week. I'm kind of feeling like really pushing through to make some real progress on this because it would be really nice to get this usable, and it's looking really promising at this point. So I feel like a couple more huge things like that getting implemented, and it's gonna start to snowball. So I feel like we're on the precipice of the software becoming a lot more implemented, let's say. I mean, obviously every little thing happens one at a time, but anyway, it's getting close to the point where I can actually start to have it make sense why we're doing all the things we're doing instead of just going, trust me, bro. Anyway, that's it for now. If you guys enjoyed this stream, you may want to follow to be notified when I go live again next. If you want to help support the channel, you can find me on Patreon, but for now, that's it, and I will see you all next time.